What's up guys, welcome back for another YgoPro Duel video. Pendulum Magicians into the new format, you know, with the most recent TCG banlist update. Pendulum's got some tools back, and their biggest tools coming off of the list is pretty much from being banned to immediately be put to 3, just like in the OCG, and that's Wavering Eyes. Wavering Eyes at 3. Some say it's not going to make a difference. Wavering Eyes isn't that good anymore compared to, you know, a couple of years ago with, you know, Wavering Eyes being such a powerful card, destroying something like your Flame Mascot, for example, multiple times, or Guiding Ariadne, for example. You know, get those destruction searches, and eventually, and that's the most important reason, is why maybe, at least I saw it online, why people don't really prefer running Wavering Eyes, is that at this moment, at least for Pendulum Magicians, we don't really have like a one card full scale like, you know, with Performapal Monkey Board was, like during the Pepe ages. But still, Wavering Eyes, very important card, I think, for Pendulum Magicians. It tutors, and I think that's pretty obvious, their most, at least it triggers their most important cards like Sky Iris, at least like Iris Magician, for example, to, you know, get those searches. It can potentially dodge your opponent's spell and trap destruction by chaining it in a mirror match, and that's something we can definitely see coming into the new format, mirror matches. Wavering Eyes definitely shines, and keeping that Wavering Eyes against your opponent's setup is definitely very, very powerful. Other than that, this is currently my build. Again, this is not the best build, but again, feel free to leave suggestions if you want. Avian is in the main deck. I opted to still have it in the main deck here in the final version, but yeah, it's a bit iffy, like going first. If you have it, if you can set up your scale, this card is bonkers, but you know, it can be a dead top deck if you don't have your scale up, so it's an iffy card, but it's definitely something that has a main deck spot. Or could have a main deck spot. Astrograph, Sorcerer is only at 2, maybe a bit too much. The thing is that with Wavering Eyes at 3, you know, destroying your own cards, like inside, your Iris, for example, get a search off of Iris, and then at the same time, you can search something like Astrograph off of your Wavering Eyes and then immediately put Astrograph on the field to get a search, and that's something where Wavering Eyes again can potentially shine. Triple Joker, and that's the big difference between this TCG list and the OCG list, is that we TCG players have access to Triple Joker, so we don't need to run, at least I think, the Performapal engine of, you know, that what is it called, Jaggerman or something like that, or, you know, get back your Joker, etc. I don't think that's needed. The 1/0 Dragon, yeah, I still run the White Wing Magician, it's fine, I think, but a lot of people don't prefer it in the main deck. Ashes are staple, I believe. Desires, I believe, is such an important card for Pendulums. But 3 Desires, definitely hard for this deck to go off, justifying the 42 cards, and that's why I'm running the both Pendulum Graph Spell and Trap here in the main deck at 2 again, somewhat securing them against a Pot of Desires. Not really sure about Pendulum Call, again, with Wavering Eyes. It's a bit iffy, but if you want, you can definitely main deck those in multiple times. Quickly, the side deck cards. Luna, Fairy Tail Luna is also something that I definitely want to main deck, but Luna and Avian, I think that's a bit too much. Rescue Rabbit, you know, to search out Dragon Pulse Magician, I don't know. Same for Gofu, I had Gofu in there, as you will see in a few moments, but I don't think it's needed. Okay, Decode Target gets you 2 extra monster zones for the extra deck, but I don't think the risk of Gofu, or having Gofu as an extra card in your opening hand, I don't think it's needed. Same for Luster Pendulum. Okay, we got 2 Luster Pendulum, but again, I see builds not running Luster Pendulum, I see builds running 2. It's up to you if you want to do that. The Blue Boy Spellbook engine, yeah, maybe. You can definitely try that out. The multiple Omegas, that's definitely a thing, Raigeki in main deck. And the last, Guiding Ariadne. I don't really like Guiding Ariadne in the main deck. Pretty much a dead card, right? Even though you can search the Solemn Brigade off of it. Okay, let's see a few example games. Alright, first example, again, as you know, yeah, Pendulum Magicians definitely want to go first, you know, their biggest strength is going first and establish a very big board. So again, hand traps going into the new format. Yeah, Ash Blossom is definitely a big MVP against this deck. You know, Desires, Wavering Eyes. It can negate Wavering Eyes, right? If I'm not mistaken. That's something that you have to keep in mind. Like if you have double Iris in your hand, you activate double Iris in your scale. In hindsight of activating your Wavering Eyes, and then boom, your opponent has something to negate Wavering, and then you're stuck with your 2/8 scales, and that's kind of crappy, right? But still, Wavering Eyes in your opening turn, and if you know that your opponent is not playing, you know, at least it's not a mirror match, you can just, you know, use Wavering Eyes, get those searches, trigger your Pendulum Graph spell, and get more searches off of that. Okay, you're, and it's different, of course, than before, since, you know, now going into Link format, the new Master Rule, you only have that one extra deck, extra monster zone, so it's different than before, right? Pendulum, or at least Wavering Eyes, was such a great card in the old school days, pre-Link format, since, you know, you can just fuel your extra deck, and then after that just Pendulum summon everything back, right? And that's something now, it's not really that fantastic anymore, and that's definitely one of the reasons why a couple of people don't really like running Wavering Eyes, just because of that. And of course, as mentioned before, we don't really, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't really have like a one card scale like Monkey Board or Clifford Scout. Okay, this should be a matchup indeed against a true Draco. I believe it's like the Spellbook true Draco deck. But I believe it's definitely the best deck going into the new format. Then again, Pendulum's come very close. But yeah, anyway, I have to lure out, I mean, you know, he has like that one sure negation in the form of Masterpiece and that one back row, which could be Strike, which could be Cyclone, could be everything. Eventually he reveals a Cyclone, I believe the, is it the purple? Yeah, indeed, Poison Magician. I have to chain Wavering Eyes, I believe, to, you know, get Poison Magician's effect. I'm going to lose, I think it was the Wisdom Eye Magician, but again, a search, Pendulum Search, and the trigger of my Chronograph spell card, but it does force out his Masterpiece, but I think he was screwed either way. If he uses Masterpiece to, you know, prevent my Pendulum Search with Wavering Eyes, I can just establish a very big board, and if he kept his Masterpiece, I would have got him in either way, so it's not going to matter, right? Another example again, going first this time. Astrograph Sorcerer, again, as I mentioned before, is at 2 in the deck. Not really sure if I want to have it at 3, since again it's searchable off of Wavering Eyes, and since if you search it with Wavering Eyes, you can immediately drop it on the board, have like that big beatstick on the field, and at the same time trigger its searching effect. You know, searching something like Iris Magician or maybe Insight or Wisdom Eye Magician. That's definitely very, very strong. Okay, the opponent again going for Gofu. The Destrudo ABC going into new format. Seems fine, I guess, but I believe it's a bit too vulnerable to disruption. Again, going first, here's where Avian definitely shines, right? But still, it could be a dead top deck later on. Destroy both his back row, and now that opens the path to eventually, oh yeah, you know, going for game. Ignister getting the effect. Yeah, entering the scoop phase right here. Another example again, yeah, Gofu. Again, I was playing Gofu at 3 in the main deck, since, you know, with the mindset of, okay, I can go for that first turn Deco Talker, opening up 2 extra monster zones, but, you know, after some playtesting, it was I don't think it's needed. As you see, even if you don't open Gofu, you can still make, for example, your Omega, taking that first extra monster zone, but then just use Omega, rip your opponent from one card in his hand, and then you can just go for the Exceed, right? Go for your rank 4 Magician Exceed, get a search off of that, so you don't really need it, right? Enlightenment Paladin again got an extra card to search, or at least get back from your graveyard in the form of Wavering Eyes. So Enlightenment Paladin is definitely, if it wasn't before, like a staple in your extra deck, right? And also its battle phase effect, something not to forget. Astrograph is dropped here, but it's not going to matter again if Deco Talker on the field. That one back row could be scary, I believe. And yeah, the fact that, you know, you can get back Wavering Eyes in the mirror match, very important. But now, I mean, if you can get back Wavering Eyes, you can just play during your opponent's turn, you know, triggering your Pendulum cards, your, yeah, Pendulum Magicians, maybe destroy something on your opponent's side of the field with Purple Magician, Purple Poison Magician, or get a Surge off of Iris Magician if you activate Wavering Eyes, and at the same time triggering your Chronograph spell card. Ooh, Wavering Eyes is definitely a very important tool going into the new format, yeah, of course, for Pendulum Magicians. Last example, I believe the opponent gets a start. That's a good start. I believe is going to end with the standard opening move of, you know, Decode Talker and ABC Dragon Buster and no back row. Okay, that's good. So we can potentially play around the ABC Dragon Buster, but still it's going to be very important. You know, the 2 draws off of Desires are going to be very important. Okay, there was a Dragon Buster, and I believe, yeah, okay, there's a Duelist Alliance. Again, such an important staple here for the deck. Okay, you eventually search Luster Pendulum again. That can potentially lure out the ABC Dragon Buster, but then the Wavering Eyes coming in clutch, chaining it to ABC Dragon Buster. Still get Poison Magician's effect of popping. Doesn't really matter here. I can go for a game since I believe we know the 2 cards in his hand. No hand traps to my knowledge. And then use my normal summon again. Yeah, you know what's coming, right? Eventually I should be going for, yeah, thanks to his Decode Talker, I have the second monster zone, extra monster zone open, and go for that Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. That's also like a busted extra deck monster. You know, it's like a Raigeki for the opponent, and paired up with Dweller in this case. Yeah, what can you do, right? So GG, well played. Again, this is currently my list. Like always, feel free to leave suggestions if you want, but yeah, the Fairy Tail Luna is definitely a card I want to have in the main deck. It's like a Major Spectre Unicorn, but yeah, it's of course weaker, but it's something that I definitely want to fit in the main deck. I'm not too keen on main decking Rescue Rabbit, as mentioned before. Too much bricks, same for running those extra normal monsters. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.